I'm Kath. I'm the laboratory lead here at the wastewater treatment plant in New Plymouth. We're an IONS accredited lab. We've got 6 staff and we do the trade waste testing. We've got about 110 clients, and of those BOD is one of the main tests that we do. So we're going to step you through how we do that test.
Hi, I'm Annie. I'm working in the lab. I'm going to show you how we do the BOD testing today.
It's been delivered to us by the trade waste officer. So what Annie's going to do now is take it over and log it into our data system, which is Water Outlook and Lab Online. This will generate a completely unique number for this sample. So everything to do with this sample is recorded in Lab Online. With the BOD test, the ideal time to start it is within 2 hours of sampling. If you can't do it within 2 hours, what we do is pop the sample in the fridge until we're ready to go. You have to start it within 6 hours of receiving the sample regardless. So once it's got its unique number, we pop it in the water bath and that will bring it up to 20 degrees. Generally it sits in there for roughly an hour. And once we're ready to go, the next step is to adjust the pH to make 0.5 and 7.5. So why? That's because it produces the ideal conditions in solution for the proper bacterial growth. So we want to also remove any residual chlorine in the samples, as obviously this would kill or inhibit those microbial growth. Next stage is to prepare the dilution water. So what we're doing here is adding nutrients, so calcium carbonate, magnesium sulfate, ferric chloride and phosphate buffer. So this conditions our dilution water so that the bacteria can survive. So we need to make sure the water is free of metal contaminants, and the ultimate determination of how suitable it is if the oxygen depletion over 5 days is less than 0.2 milligrams per litre of dissolved oxygen. Fill the BOD bottles up to approximately 200 ml with the prepared dilution water. We then add something called ATU, which is a nitrogen inhibitor. So this stops any nitrogen compounds interfering with the sample analysis. Here Annie is adding portions of the trade waste sample. We do a range of dilutions of the sample so that we can capture the dissolved oxygen within the required range. So we base this on the look, the smell and the history of the sample to determine the dilutions we do. Occasionally we can miss the range, but we can report a greater than or a less than result. So typically we do 3 dilutions per trade waste sample if we know them, and if we don't, we can do up to 5 dilutions of each trade waste sample. So now Annie is adding seed to all of the bottles. So the best source of seed is from the treatment plant itself, so from the primary or secondary treatment plant stages. So you're basically going to inoculate the sample. We keep the seed stirring so that the same dose of microorganisms is dispensed into each bottle. And here we were adding 10 ml of seed. So you must always seed samples that have been pH adjusted or dechlorinated. Then we calibrate the YSI DO meter. Right, we've got a calibrated DO meter, so now we just top the bottle up halfway up the neck with dilution water, put the probe in. The probe's got a stirrer on it which is consistently stirring the sample. The program will automatically log the DO once it is stable, and we're done. Okay, and the final stage is just to put the little glass lid in the bottle, and this actually puts a little bit of water when you insert the lid in, a little bit of water around the neck, and then we're going to put a plastic cap over the top, and this keeps it completely sealed, and it goes into the incubator for 5 days at 20 degrees, and that temperature is plus or minus 1 degree. After 5 days, we then take the samples out and read them again. So all the samples are taken out of the incubator and put on a tray. We take them over to the BOD meter, which we will then calibrate. So we're going to read off the seeds, the blanks, the QC standards and the samples. And the program is going to calculate the results for us. So the calculation is basically the initial dissolved oxygen minus the final dissolved oxygen reading minus the seed dissolved oxygen, and then we divide all of that by the sample dilution. So for an acceptable result, the difference between the initial and final dissolved oxygen results must drop by 2 milligrams per litre or more. And then after 5 days, the final dissolved oxygen result must still have a residual DO of greater than 1 milligram per litre to be used. So the BOD results are only accurate if those above 2 rules are met. Otherwise, we'd report a greater than or less than result.